All right, everybody, get ready to dive deep because today we're tackling one of the heavy hitters, a philosopher whose ideas echo even now, thousands of years later. Get ready to explore the world of Plato.
Plato. He's not just some name you see in a textbook.
Definitely not. In fact, you want to know why he still matters today? Well, get ready, because we're about to uncover why his thinking still shapes the way we see the world. But got to start at the beginning, right?
Of course.
So picture ancient Athens, around 427 BCE. It's a time of total buzz, intellectually, politically. Democracy is this, like, new idea. But things aren't exactly stable.
Right. You've got the Peloponnesian War going on, creating all this turmoil.
And right in the middle of it all, there's Plato, learning from Socrates, no less. And guess what? He becomes the teacher of Aristotle.
Talk about a philosophical family tree.
I mean, talk about an influential lineage. Absolutely. But it's this crazy time in Athens that really shapes Plato, right?
Oh, absolutely. Seeing the Peloponnesian War firsthand, witnessing political corruption, it made him question Athenian democracy. He saw its flaws up close.
It's like he's seeing all this chaos, all this, like, backstabbing, and he starts to think, there's got to be a better way. And that leads him to found
The academy.
Not just any school, right? This was the place to be for the brightest minds.
It was a place where ideas could clash, where knowledge was the main event. And from this intellectual furnace, you see some of Plato's most important works emerge. The Republic, the Symposium, Phaedrus.
His greatest hits.
Indeed. Okay, but we got to break these down, because these aren't just like philosophical lectures. In the Republic, Plato doesn't just critique Athenian democracy. He goes, hold my sandals, I'm going to design an ideal society, ruled by philosopher kings.
You know, because who needs elected officials when you can have philosophers calling the shots?
A radical concept, right?
Totally. Okay, but then there's the Symposium. Love, right. But not your typical love story. Think a bunch of smart people at a dinner party dissecting love. Like, what is love, really? And they explore this thing called Diotima's ladder of love. It's wild.
It is. It's this hierarchy of love, starting with physical attraction and ascending all the way to the love of knowledge itself.
See, this is what I'm talking about. But before we get lost in that, let's talk about an idea that ties a lot of Plato's work together, the theory of forms.
Ah, yes. The forms. This is where things get really interesting. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful sunset. What makes it beautiful, though?
The colors,
Plato would say it's participating in the form of beauty, this perfect eternal essence that exists beyond what we see and hear.
Okay, so there's like this ideal version of everything out there. No wonder he was questioning reality. But, like, how do we even begin to grasp these forms?
Well, that's where the allegory of the cave comes in, one of Plato's most famous metaphors.
Okay, hit us with it.
Imagine you're a prisoner, chained inside a cave. All you've ever seen are shadows projected on the wall in front of you. You'd think those shadows were reality, right?
I mean, if that's all you knew.
Exactly. But then you break free from your chains. You see the fire that's casting the shadows, the objects that create them, and you realize what you thought was real was just, well, shadows.
Whoa, there's like a whole other level of reality out there.
Precisely. And it doesn't stop there, because then you climb out of the cave and step into the sunlight.
And that's when you see the true reality, the forms.
It's a difficult journey, emerging from the darkness. But the reward is incredible.
It makes you think, right? What are our cave shadows today? Social media, biased news, our own assumptions.
Precisely. So how do we, like those prisoners, break free? By constantly questioning, seeking different perspectives, digging deeper.
And this is why Plato still matters, because his ideas are timeless. Remember, you were asking about his impact. It's not just philosophy.
Not at all. His influence is everywhere. Ethics, politics, science. Plato's fingerprints are all over them. Logic, reason, these cornerstones of Western thought. He championed those ideas.
So, ready for some actionable Plato wisdom? Here are 3 takeaways inspired by the man himself. Number 1, never stop learning. Plato never stopped questioning, and neither should we.
Number 2, challenge your assumptions. Remember the cave. Don't be content with shadows. Look for the light, even when it's hard.
And finally, number 3, strive for a just world. Plato dreamed of a society based on fairness and wisdom. How can each of us contribute to that vision in our own way?
That's the question, isn't it?
It really is. So here's a final thought straight from the Republic to ponder. If you could create your ideal society, what would philosophers do? Would they lead, advise, or something else entirely? Let us know. And thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the incredible world of Plato.